it's really powerful. You kind of have to imagine that some of the national security information that Barack Obama may have gleaned from his tenure as presidency is in that film. And my father made sure last time he saw us to sit us both down and make sure we watch it. And then there's another movie called Civil War that's equally as powerful with Kristen Dunst. I don't know if you know her, but she's a lot of movies. It's funny, on the islands you talk about movies and people are like, why worry about movies? We have the best movie here. But it was powerful mythology to help us help me especially integrate what I learned from The Sound of Music, and how sometimes even if you love a country with all your heart, like we love the United States, there can sometimes be a time when there is a time to leave. And so that's sort of where the Germany comes in as a possibility, a temporary one, but as a possibility.
Well, you're young enough to keep this journeying until it,
Yeah.
do we ever get there? Probably not. When I go home, we're real settled. Hawaii's not easy unless you have a guide.
Yes.
And your guide is here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the force, as you say.
Yeah.
I love that you use the word the force.
Yeah.
We use it too.
Yeah. So, but it's a good place to journey to, and you might find this is a very artistic place.
Yes.
And it has wonderful stories. So it is, but yeah.
What was your name?
My name's Amy.
Amy. Oh my goodness. I'm embarrassed to reference another movie, but Kristen Stewart is such a powerful force. Her mother has a whole foundation where she brings awareness to the wolf population because they had wolves as pets growing up. And she did the Twilight movies, the 3 kind of series that were a big kind of cultural force for young girls based on the books. But she did a recent movie called Love Me. And
Powerful.
The lead character, I always think, is connected to Amy because her name is Me and her husband's name is I Am. And it's so
It's
beautiful.
really
It
deep,
incorporates
powerful.
all of the technology, the sort of sending our avatars up into the cloud and to the satellites and the revolution of the spiritual force of our story on planet Earth. And so since your name is Amy, you may
I remember that.
Yeah, it's called Love
Really
Me.
good movie.
It's so beautiful. We reference it a lot just in the cycle.
It's in the theaters right now still. It's like
It's very
it's
spiritual, very, and such a beautiful colors and sounds, and
goes
worth
from
watching with family members.
It goes
that you
from
care
like
about.
live to animation.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you kind of a feeling, an idea of like what, like time and evolution or creation story.
And technology incorporating the creation story.
Kind of pulls some of the fear out of like how we've evolved as humans into this more technological way of being.
And I think that's where we're at right now. Personally, I don't think we humans understand technology yet.
Yeah.
You're so wise.
Very small amount.
I think this artificial intelligence might get us there as long as it's not abused.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that we need guiding forces like this right now because the world is finally saying this isn't working.
I love you for saying that, Amy. It's the reassurance we needed. Yeah.
I need to find peace in that because I can't do all the other right
Yeah.
now on either side. I can't
Yeah.
do all the other. It's like let's get back in my realistic world. At my age, I've been asked to sit on some boards.
Yes.
And so I've seen myself as a mentor
Yes.
of the next generation that's coming. I'm just kind of the in-between helping them.
Yes.
So when I talk to them and they're really frustrated and they're really depressed, my guidance is you need to put yourself in a place where you can get over the chatter.
That high perspective.
Yeah, you need to look at the end game and then figure out how you're going to talk to both sides.
Yes.
And get them there.
Wow.
And my spiritual leader is by accident really into that.
Wow.
And right now taking the rest of the community that's dealing with this
Yes.
and not able to focus it, he's starting to help them do that too.
Oh.
So there is pockets
Wow.
everywhere dealing with this. uproar.
Do you mind me asking what the accident? You said by accident, sort of. Your spiritual leader, you said by accident.
I needed to wander,
Uh-huh.
and how did I follow him first? I don't know if somebody recommended or for some reason in 2016, I was really having a lot of doubts
Yeah.
and read something with him,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
I said, okay, he's having a 4-day event down in New Mexico,
Oh.
Albuquerque. I'm going to go and I'm going to watch and see what this is all about.
Wow.
So it was probably 500 to 800 people,
Wow.
and I sat there and just kind of wandered through, talking to people,
Yeah.
and kind of went, this is good, this feels good. So I've been following him. Now, as we talk immediately, he's trying to deal with the two groups that are, like you said, your friends.
Factions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to deal with those. And I'm kind of taking walks instead.
Yes. Oh, so clear of you.
Because he
Yeah.
can handle that.
Yeah. That's his
Right now.
calling more.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and people follow him, so they're going to listen. And they're
good.
going to, but yeah, people, their angst right now is, so whether it's arts or,
Yeah.
or spiritual leaders or whatever, we got to,
I love that you said boards, because my first sense of knowing that the arts were going to guide me, like, that's why I noticed you picking up shells, just that art spirit. In Atlanta, I was part of an organization called Artists Raising the Consciousness of Humanity, and as an acronym, Arch Productions.
oh, that's wonderful.
And I was the first student board member invited to be on the board. And even though I didn't know how I was going to pay for college, my job as the board member was to pick the student that got the scholarship. And it put me in such a crazy, sort of existential feeling of I need the scholarship, thinking, how can I pick someone else? But I went ahead and I did it. And I did my work as a student board member. And as a result,
Karmically, this is cool.
at the University of Southern California, I received the only student-chosen scholarship. It's called the Norman Topping Student Aid Fund. The only student-chosen scholarship in the country at that time. There may be others, I hope, by now, but where the student body actually chose me on a community service-based scholarship.
That's full circle right there.
Thank you for mentioning the board, because I was just telling him last night, I said, we've pretty much finished filming filming a big, probably 90% of our storytelling lo-fi, just super passionate but clear documentary of our as an actress, I was on the up and coming sort of publicity spectrum when
Upper echelon.
when pictures were released of he and I making out in our car, and it became like a international news scandal because I had just been in an Academy Award winning movie. So I watched all that work go down the tubes as my reputation was defiled because of the sexual implications of our story. But it wasn't just me. A 35-year sergeant got fired, and the black community held several letters.
He retired before he got fired.
But then he was fined by the Essex Commission, and then civil rights leaders who were part of the Nation of Islam held a public press conference to denounce me from the black community. All kinds of things that sort of made me doubt my nonprofit spirit just a bit. We even worked with a nonprofit with a fearless leader who ended up getting both of his legs cut off by a drunk driver, and he even survived that with no pain medicine. He was a yogi, so he was doing yoga, but I think he died of a broken heart trying to eat healthy because of the political maelstrom and all of that. So you reminding me of that board, there are many nonprofits that I want to make alliances with because I know that there is funding there for our project. We just have to focus in a little on it. So you gave us the reassurance we needed that that's available.
Hopefully there's good. It'll be interesting. You've been here how long?
I like to
We've
say
been-
40 days and 40 nights, but
It's been around that. It was 16 days on the
it's
Big
a
Island.
Christian joke, you know.
5 days in Oahu. It was about 12 days in Kauai, and we've been here about almost 2 weeks. I'd say like 12 days or so. So yeah, 40 something days.
So when do you wander up country?
I think we're gonna go to the Starbucks today, do some internet organizing and contact our friend and try and make it there either today or tomorrow. you
It's
know.
a little longer.
Yeah.
Up country is totally different than the coast.
Okay.
And there's just a lot going on. If you're up there long enough, Paia is
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's where we
okay.
first came. We
That's
came
where
to
we first.
we went to
That's
Paia
what
and
he was-
Haiku.
Yeah, there
First.
you go. There you know it.
I'm
he
pretty
had,
sure.
he had old friends from his hippie days that had gone there to do restaurants or more spiritual days. I mean, we were still in our spiritual days, but the
I
beginning.
followed the Grateful Dead for a little while, and which led me to I proliferated psychedelics and cannabis for a while, and then when I knew that was the end, that I didn't want to spend my life in prison and in places that too small of boxes for me. I somehow was blessed to become one of the world's first gourmet raw vegan chefs, which is what led me to Hollywood. I became a celebrity chef, and that's how I met her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's the raw vegan. That's kind of it's a very spiritual community,
Kind of
kind of
limited spiritual because I
and
think
limited at the same
it
time.
doesn't embrace sort of the reality of balancing
Yeah.
your nutrition with your.
Which is something that she's really helped me deeply with. Is really seeing everything more in balance, and so I've been able to journey with her and just kind of get in between the cracks of what I felt was in a lot of ways became dogmatic and ways of thinking and being that she's really helped me kind of release
But
and
he
balance.
did run into an old friend. We ran into an old friend of his in
Well, it was an old friend of a
in
friend.
Paia.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. An old friend of mine in Paia, we ran into him. I hadn't seen him in almost
Real
20
blast
years.
From the past.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And then we ran into in Hilo,
He-
right by
Kihei?
Kihei.
Okay.
We ran into a friend of a friend, and ended up, and interestingly enough, he and his wife, what their story was kind of conjoined to my old story, and it was
There's a figure named
Fascinating.
William Leonard Picard that I think is going to be the Nelson Mandela of the new age, and
Okay.
he
specifically of psychedelics and mind opening.
he was a monk. Then he went to the Harvard Kennedy School for Government and graduated, and he was in the process of all of that recruited to share the story of the proliferation of LSD through the CIA and through all of that. But he, in doing so, had to serve 2 life prison sentences, or he was granted 2 life prison sentences. And while he was there, wrote some of the highest English I've ever read, just beautiful English.
Big
about all
book of
it.
literary
But he calls it a fiction, but it's to me that alone is worth the Nobel Peace Prize. But beyond that, what psychedelic medicine has done for me to help unlock past trauma and help me see you as a reflection of myself, in a way that before maybe I would have been afraid of you because of things my mother told me or stereotypes around race or gender or whatever, and
He was released from prison. He got his 2 lifetime sentences erased, not erased, but he was let go.
compassionate release.
Compassionate release during COVID.
Oh.
In
Yeah.
part because of some research he had done he had sort of preemptively identified the fentanyl epidemic as
Epidemic.
as a problem, and he's a beautiful speaker. If you
Now he's-
ever get
now
the
he's
chance to
speaking
hear
and
him
doing
at
a lot of,
colleges and
talking.
universities,
He said
and
hot.
William Leonard Picard.
like Captain Picard
yeah.
from the Starship Enterprise, but
And I'm not a starshipper, so
But-
somewhere I tripped across that name. Back to your story
Yes.
of your Southern California
yes.
experience. That's kind of where I'm at with all cultures,
Yes.
is this conformist attitude that every culture
Has. Exactly.
And then the monk I follow, he says that we have to work with that pain. And if we don't feel that pain that's there with all cultures,
Yeah.
we imprint it onto another culture.
Absolutely. You couldn't say it any clearer. Exactly.
So clear.
And I really feel badly when I see cultures fight back through oppression by oppressing.
Yeah. It's the same cycle.
And I do too,
repeated.
and I see that in what has been called the black culture in America, and it breaks my heart, you know.
Well, and I live in Northwest Washington.
Okay.
And so our Native American culture,
Yes.
or Hawaii.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
the
We know about it
Hawaiians.
in Northwest Washington, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's again, how do you get above that? And cultures have to figure that out first.
Yeah.
They have to realize that they're conformists, that scapegoat into their own
Yeah.
people who
Yeah.
don't conform
Absolutely.
is very harmful.
Woo, big time. It's fascinating when you say that. Like a friend of mine from Grateful Dead tour was going to a show from, and this is like 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago. He was going from a show, I think, in the Bay Area up into the West Washington area. I can't remember the name of the arena, but it's up in Northwest Washington.
Okay.
And on his way, he ended up disappearing. They found him. He was murdered by the natives there. And he was like, I mean, it was a really fascinating story because it was like someone that you wouldn't feel like, it's someone who like really enjoyed the native culture and like, so it was like, it's like kind of this, like, really? Like that happened? Like I could.
He has a lot of stories like that of a lot of his friends who were in Buddhist or Eastern traditions who were doing their best to sort of follow the mantra of do no harm. And I heard so many stories over the last 11 years that at a certain point I sort of had to take the other approach, which is really to see the harm as beneficial, because
The full circle
of what as Leonard Cohen says, what the harm does to create the cracks that let the light in. Because he was so traumatized by those stories of being a.
She took me to the South. We went to Mississippi to her family's property. Her great-great-grandparents were revolutionaries in Mississippi back in the Civil War time. Right? And her great-great-grandfather actually deserted the Confederate Army. He was a medic, went back to his county, created a militia out of his daughters, his family, his friends, and literally fought off the Union and the Confederate Army, created what was called the Free State of Jones. Matthew McConaughey even actually played her great-great-grandfather in a movie, The Free State of Jones, a few years ago. So she took me back to Mississippi. That was a really challenging place for me because a lot of the stories that I had heard, or that I even experiences that I've had in the South, following the Grateful Dead and going to rainbow gatherings as a hippie in the 90s. I remember a friend like hitchhiking through like Louisiana, one of those states. I think it might have even been Mississippi. Long blonde dreads, murdered by someone. Like they thought it was, they couldn't figure out
Sort
who
of
it was.
victimized by the culture, by being an outsider, as you say, or scapegoated, you know.
Which it was challenging because as travelers, as hippies, as free thinkers, as whatever,
spiritualists,
like we had a lot of the similar discriminations as like the black community, the African American dark-skinned community in the South, and it was kind of hard to translate it to her at first, but then she started seeing how that was true when we traveled through Mississippi,
and especially here, when on the Big Island.
Especially here with my no teeth.
He faced so much more discrimination than I did when we first got to the Big Island. Just because he was born with a rare disease where he couldn't grow 16 permanent teeth, and then didn't have the best relationship with his dad, who was a dentist, who built him a perfect partial. He looked like he
That's
had
how
the
I got into Hollywood. My dad built me like
he
a
had the
really
perfect
awesome
veneers,
teeth.
you know, but he didn't learn good hygiene because he didn't have a good relationship with his father. So I had to say, look, you know, your hygiene matters more to me than what you look like. Just let's take care of your teeth. And
Right around that time, my teeth were already starting to. It was so hard to eat, and even one night I woke up and it was kind of coming out, and I was like, "Oh man, I could choke."
well, and he worked with a billionaire when he was a chef who was doing a lot of stem cell research. The research exists that you can regrow them. It's in its developmental stages, but I'd like him to be a model for that. I think he still has plenty of time, so I was encouraging him to let go of the plastic teeth, and when he did,
And she would kiss me with those teeth. left.
but on the Big Island, they just saw that and saw a drug addict, and it didn't matter where we
I had
were.
half my stomach removed too when I was 12, so I
Couldn't-
have this, you know, I have
Lean
a very
body,
lean
you
body,
know.
bony body. So just both of the attributes, like just people associate with drug use, like you know, like
Hard, you know,
unhoused,
kind
hard
of the
drug
drugs
use,
that are
yeah.
very problematic, and at the same time, you know, the relative, you know, tobacco use that we, you know, share comes from his mother denying herself tobacco. She was Cherokee Indian, but looked white, and you know, she died of what is now a preventable disease. And we've learned that sometimes the tobacco can help clear the head, but on the Big Island, him standing there smoking a cigarette,
Don't look.
it didn't matter. The people would just say, "You can't be here. You can't be here," you know, and just because
What
he's.
part of the island were you? That's the one island we have not visited.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We were
What part of the island were you on? Were you up
It would
on
happen-
the east side or were you the west side?
all
We did both. We went
over,
all over. It was all
They- We
over.
just had, they had very strong no loitering rules because I guess people from
Well,
the
the
fires here
volcanoes-
went there.
Well, they
or-
also had the volcanoes, so the volcanoes at some points destroy towns and whole areas. So they have like this, view and feeling around energy being like so like
It's just we had maybe 2 more bags before
yeah, we
this,
had
and
more stuff.
not big stuff, but you know, they had this feeling that we were just that from his no teeth, they just thought, oh, they're homeless, they can't be here. I mean, one point we spent, you know, almost $30 to do laundry.
No places to charge your phone because they're so afraid of like
And-
losing their energy. And
Right after we spent the $30, we asked the guy, he said, we're waiting on someone to bring back our phone because someone had taken our phone but said they were going to bring it back. We thought they stole it, but thankfully they said they were going to bring it back, and
they did.
they did,
Broken.
but we were waiting. No, that wasn't the broken time. We were waiting
Oh, yeah,
for the
yeah,
phone,
yeah.
and we had told the laundry guy, but it didn't matter. You know, like 20 minutes later, he said, "No, you can't be here. It looks like you're loitering." I said, "You just saw us spend $20,"
Yeah.
but he looked at him, and you know, just. So it's been a challenge, but it was good for me to see that equal sort of discrimination that can happen to people. You know, because even if he had had his nice teeth, there was still that sort of Howley discrimination.
Yeah.
I don't know if
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The devastation of the Lahaina fires
Yeah.
really hit all of us since, you know, we've been coming for decades. And do we give up our little share at that point or not? And we decided to come anyway, but that anger that hit the beach
Oh.
was hard to watch,
Yeah.
but
How so? How did it, you know?
I think that
You
anyone
just-
that goes through trauma,
But I mean, like
That's
you
anger.
you observed it like on the beach, like with people
Oh,
like
yeah,
yelling slurs, or
yeah, they had protests on the
oh
beach.
wow,
Um,
against
were
the
angry.
resorts.
They were angry. It was
Or just white people.
No, it was local. It was Hawaiian anger. They're in Hawaii. They would like to see their kingdom returned.
And the resort community doesn't represent that for them, or
Well, and all of it. You
Yeah.
know, all
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
But it's settled down, and you know, it's just whenever there's trauma,
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
anger.
Uh,
Kind of goes back to the colonialism,
that's a heavy one, yeah.
the colonizing, It goes back far. But then in reality, what we've learned by being here is that the Polynesians came from, and they warred a lot, and the chiefs, and and one of the big guides for us to Hawaii, for me, I didn't really realize it until we got here, is that someone who I actually had called uncle growing up in the small Seventh-day Adventist community that I was a part of in little west of Loma Linda. We were actually born in the same town. It was really quite magical and mystical in how our upbringing. We were both born Seventh-day Adventist. Our moms worked in the same hospital. Our dads went to the same college. We're going to be preachers, but became different professions. And one of my dad and mother's, two of their friends were Mike and Debbie Nalawai. And Mike, really big Hawaiian, like 6'5", big Hawaiian, had always told us how he was descendants of King Kamehameha. So when we got here, there's just the spirit of King
Especially
Kamehameha.
Hilo, there's all these monuments and big statues,
guided us to all these
historic.
different things and stories about it. And then, of course, we discovered kind of the more culture, the more actual history of the island. And it just kept ringing that it's kind of just different versions of the same story all over the world, where how we have conquered and then imbued and then it's just kind of this way we've
learning how to
together.
share resources,
Learning
as
how to
my
share
mentor
resources.
says, Dr. Susan Falk. She studies the bonobo monkeys and the way that they're female-dominated sort of society, but they're the only apes that haven't been seen killing each other, because the women have a voice and they determine that how we share resources, and they make peace through pleasure, and the women, share. And the men have to share because the women share, so.
That is, as the Hawaiian culture re-emerged in the 60s, they made it a goal to teach people who came in
Yes,
their culture.
yes.
And I think
made sense. That's
where
one thing
we
she
come
pointed out.
from, they're not there yet.
Ah.
So to come here and to learn from them, and I think that a lot of the healing from the Lahaina fires is, I think we'll have to see, they've come to the agreement of how to redevelop
Ah.
in a different way. I guess we'll always have commercialism, but they may reestablish some of their history in the process. The Hawaiian history, not necessarily the whaling history and all of that. And so I'm optimistic, and I think that's healing. But yeah, I think they do anyone who comes here knows what aloha means, but it's more than just a hi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We had someone very
Yeah.
strongly tell us it's the alo is face and ha is breath, and it's seeing the spirit in the face, seeing the love in someone's face.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to see when you say hello and goodbye. So that's why the essence of it is love.
Which you are such a really great example of.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you,
haven't wasted too much
Amy.
of your time.
No,
never.
thank you for listening and sharing your
We have no
stories.
schedule. We're always in the moment. Our time is valued by how you share.
Well, and very interesting. I'm glad that you found some healing.
Yeah, we both did. We both did.
Tremendous amount.
Both of you, Nikki, and all of us.
Yeah, and with the conversation with you, good communion.
Well, I'll follow Picard, right?
Yes.
William
I'll
Leonard
go
Picard.
dabble, and then I'll watch to see if I see any documentaries, and I'll look at the I Me. Is that what you said?
Love me.
Love
yeah.
me.
Love me.
Love me.
If you give us your email, we can send you some of the things we've been sharing if you want.
Well, and thank you, but
She's on a board, so she
Oh,
gets a
okay,
lot of
that's right.
emails, remember?
I make a promise to detach.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. It's important. It's important. I've had to do that as well.
It's kind of like the anger that, like, I can't follow that, and I'm glad that my spiritual leader is dealing with that. When I saw it come through, I said, okay, thank you, but this isn't what I need to get involved in right now.
Yeah. That's
I need to
wise.
protect
You've got your aim. Your aim is clear. Yeah, down there on the
meditate over there.
Magic Rocks. You're gonna find some good ones today. I'm sure of it.
Favorite spot.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you,
Thanks,
Amy.
Amy.
Thank you so
Good luck
much.
going
Thanks.
Back to that area. I hope that works for you. And
Thank
it's a
you.
lot cooler up there.
Yeah. Lots of love. Aloha.
Yay. The aim. I love how you said that.
Beautiful. Wow. What a beautiful conversation. I hope our iPhone learned something from that.
It will.